Hey folks, Jacob here, aka Necrosis. I think this is probably the first time I've put my face up on the YouTube. Up until now I've just been doing, uploading random shit to a couple people I know for this or that. And then I noticed there's a monetized button, and I'm like, maybe I'll make a useful video, because I've got something here that people will probably want to try if they don't already do this. In a nutshell, there's two problems that I had to address, that I had originally, and that's what gave birth to this whole routing audio system. Audio routing, whatever. The first problem was, I was using Tractor, which was my DJ software. If you use the ASIO drivers, it will automatically exclude anything else from being able to use it. So you wouldn't be able to hear anything else as long as that program was still running. Fine when you're live, not so fine when you're multitasking in your room. So I needed to come up with a way to bypass that. I did. The other problem was that I wanted to, I do a lot of stuff. I watch videos, I watch YouTube videos as well, movies, YouTube videos as well as videos with this brain, she's not on. Video games, visual novels, anything that produces audio out of my computer. And the problem had been that video games were at one volume, which is usually pretty high up. Whereas, let's say anime recorded with the ASIO audio stuff gets downmixed and it's like negative 10 decibels below normal. It was too quiet. And some of the shittier encodings on top of that, include, an issue with too much dynamic range where you can't hear the whispering and the explosions are just too fucking loud. Then you go on YouTube and you click on a video and this one's way too loud, but then this one's way too quiet. And I wanted to be able to compress it and bring it all into a normal level, but not using just normalization or, all those types of shittier techniques that are exclusive to, say, web, media player or whatever. I wanted something global. I wanted all my audio coming out of Windows, unless specified otherwise, to go through a system and level out that volume. And I did. And it took a lot of research, it took a lot of effort, experimentation, and fucking around, and me reinstalling Windows 3 or 4 times as I blew it up. I saved you guys a lot of work. I wanted to share with you how to set this up so that you too might be able to do it. For the record, I'm using a xonar DG PCI Express. No, I think it's just normal PCI soundcard. It's nothing fancy. It's not an audio interface. It's just, $30 or $40. But because it had a nice signal noise ratio, which is good for DJing stuff when you've got, you can't see them, but live PA speakers. Yeah. I have to use, problem originally was also that you couldn't just use anything, driver-wise. You had to, use ASIO if you really wanted proper performance, at least out of the professional audio stuff, and that's, done through ASIO for all, which is like a third-party pseudo-driver type of thing. It's more like a wrapper around WDM or something like that, but, all that matters is it allows you to get an ASIO-like interface on top of being able to, being able to add multiple devices into it at once, which is an important step to making the system function the way it does. I had my audio screw up earlier, so I have it routing into another channel on my mixer. I want to see. Okay, yeah, so every now and then I might turn that up and down for a moment so I can hear myself, make sure the audio on the mic isn't getting all garbly and stuff, because I'm still working out a couple bugs. So, anyways, let's stop dilly-daddling. I got a couple notes on a cheat sheet on the side here, otherwise, kind of making it up as I go. ASIO for all, that's the first tool. In my case is the first link. You don't have like blocking soft plugins or anything. You may extensions, whatever. You may see nothing but a bunch of fake links up top. You gotta find that. It's asioforall.com. Then click on first link, English, unless you want Chinese or something. There's no Japanese. For the record, if I'm playing around with my Windows settings and showing you stuff, I apologize in advance. My computer's operating system's in Japanese. It happens. So, download ASIO for all, install it. That's it. Step 2. VB audio cable is the next tool. There's two alternatives. One was jack audio, and the other is the actual commercial virtual audio cable. I've tried both. I don't like either of them. This gives me a better option. And the reason being, when I go into my sound devices, I don't have to, for one, I don't have to run anything. I just install the drivers, that's it. And then I move on to my next task. The way these function is any audio that happens to be coming in on one side or the other, the input or output input, and they're kind of backwards labeled because it serves a function of rerouting them, kind of loop back style. If anything comes into the cable A, for example, on the output here, which is the recording device, it automatically, on the driver level, echoes it back or loops it back here into the input. And what this allows me to do is keep one of these unlocked and out of the ASIO interface, the other one in ASIO, and it acts as a bridge from Windows into the whole rerouting system that otherwise is not possible because either Windows has it or ASIO has it, and it won't share. They're exclusive. So this allows you to bypass it. So, let's see. VB audio cable, this was the website. And they have a bunch of different cables. Scroll down. There's the first download. This is just VB cable driver. Download it. Scroll further down. We've got the hi-fi cable. Download that too. That'll give you two of them on the device list. There's also a cable A and a cable B, which you probably saw in my thing. Those are supposed to, you get these when you donate to the guy here, the donation where otherwise it works fine. So if you donate, you get access to download links to get the 2 additional cables. On top of all this, you click your voice meter or Banana. Back when I was experimenting, Banana was still in beta. Voice meter, you installed it. It's their routing software. We're not going to use it, but you can download it, wherever the hell that link is, and install the cable, and just use the cable. It'll appear in here without using the software. If I understand correctly, I remember the Banana, the beta version of it, installed 2 different cables, so that would be an extra benefit. One was like the voice meter input, and then the other one was, I think, auxiliary. And they functioned, as far as I remember, the the same way, where they go back and forth and stuff like that. I think. I don't remember. It's probably. Okay, moving on. So you get the cables, install them. They'll ask you to reboot. When you do that, go into your sound device property, doodad, schmad, right-click your icon, the audio icon in Windows, and open this up. And for each device, you gotta double-click it and configure its how many bits you want and the sample rate. In my case, all of them are 24 with 44,100. 44,100. I can't do numbers anymore. Numbers are hard. Alright. So the idea is you need to configure every single device in the list that you'll be using to the exact same values. All of them. And whatever it is, just set it to that. You're done. You might have to I don't think you have to reboot after that. So virtual devices are now set up and calibrated. You need to go into Google and get the last program, which itself is Reaper, and I can't even spell that. Even showed me how to spell it, and I'm like, Reaper or just Reaper.fm. That's the web page. You need to go and download this. This is a digital audio workstation. Portable. It's got a trial for 30 days, and I think it still works after the trial period anyways. And it's fully functional. You buy it. I recommend buying it. It's good shit. It comes with something that makes this whole thing possible as far as routing audio, called ReaRoute. You need to download, I'm assuming you've got Windows 64-bit download. You need to install both of them essentially. So if you're using 64-bit, you would download the 64-bit and install it. Right now it's running it, which is why it's complaining, but I'm going to show you one thing in here. Note there's also a portable installation. Let me step back for just a moment. If you actually use Reaper as your DAW for, whatever, besides just routing audio, you need to make an extra install that's portable. This portable installation will have its own settings, independent of the ones that get stored, like in Windows user folder and all that mess. Because you want it calibrated, configured differently than you do the actual routing thing. So just note that if that's something you need. When you get to this menu here, this is the critical point. Normally I think this is either unchecked or partially checked or something, the additional functionality. You need to go down and make sure it's checked completely, because ReaRoute, this is the driver itself that we have to have. This is the magic. This is what made everything work and my life actually function again. So when you install it, make sure that's on. Just make sure everything is on. Install it. When that's done, I'm just going to cancel out because it's already installed and running at the same time. Also, download and install the 32-bit version. You don't have to check everything. As long as you just check that ReaRoute driver, I think you should be okay. The reason is that, like when I was using Tractor, until I installed the additional 32-bit version, Tractor was just not seeing the driver. I don't know what the deal there was, but having both of them installed, just having the 32-bit installed on top of it, that's it. That's all you have to do. It made it work. So that'll save you a little headache possibly in the future. So once you've got Reaper installed and all that fun stuff, you can actually start it. And it's not going to look the way mine does necessarily. Got a different theme and this and that, schmat. These are the tracks on the side here. If you're not familiar with it, it'll be a lot more difficult to work with than if you have ever used, any kind of DAW or audio, anything, I guess, any kind of composition stuff. First thing you're going to have to do, though, before we do anything with the device specification, you need to go back into your settings here for your sound devices. And normally your speakers are the default sound device. You don't want that because ASIO will not be able to claim it because Windows will be using it. You need to set something else to be your default Windows sound device. I picked cable. It could be hi-fi, it could be cable A, whatever. Just pick one of the virtual cables you installed and, hit D. D right there. I don't know what it is in English exactly, but it makes it a default device. So Windows is no longer trying to throw it at this. At this point, you won't even get any audio because it's just sending it to this cable, and that's it. Now, when you go into here, this is going to be a little bit complicated because I don't want to mess with the settings here. If I mess with the settings here, it will likely cut out my audio that I'm recording in. What I can do is go into my other computer through this little team viewer and crap open. Hop in here, and this is my other computer now. It's also using Reaper. So I'll just do a demonstration through this one, through the options, etc., so that it doesn't affect my actual audio that I'm recording with. When you get to the main, when you've loaded the program, you got to go into the device settings. I just did that by clicking on the upper right corner thing. You can just go into the preferences as well, whatever. Like, boom, devices right there. You need to select your device, the system. You want ASIO for your driver, the ASIO for all that we installed earlier. This will look different for a little while. You can ignore it for now. Just hit OK. After that, you should be able to see this icon, which is ASIO for all. And it might be popped up in there somewhere. There's a lot of weird shit going on there. You can open that, and every time you open that or close it, if you're playing any music or something, it would stutter for a moment. It's like reinitializing or something. It might not look quite this way. You might have to click this little icon here first before it'll let you click anything. You got to specify what you want in here. And the basic gist of it is find your sound card, go down until you see the in and outs, and only have the output enabled. Leave the input alone. It's going to be another video where we're going to do, I'll show you like how I did the microphone inputs and stuff. But just do the output for your sound card only. That's the speakers that we undefaulted earlier. And then for every virtual cable you installed, only do the input. Leave the outputs alone, because we're taking the inputs from Windows, and it'll be coming into the Reaper itself, and then being output into the speakers. Windows will be claiming this guy. We will be claiming with ASIO this guy. They can communicate because the driver on the cable itself allows it. Otherwise, it would not be possible. It wouldn't be possible to communicate with them. Down the line, when I do another video to show off how to set up like a mic the way I did, one of the cables is also going to go the other way around on the settings here, but we'll leave that for another video. Once you've got that calibrated, now you actually have to go back into these device settings, and these will actually have more options now. So the first one you just leave alone. Second one you go all the way down to the bottom. And the same thing for the output range, all the way down to the bottom on the last. This will give you all inputs, outputs, options within reroute, within Reaper for use with rerouting. Now I already have a track here, showing off what it is. I'm going to, this is going to be a bit of a pseudo explanation because, I'm not doing this from scratch, so I'll just kind of show you the gist of it. Hopefully I don't forget any minor details. In the DAW, right click and insert a new track. If you want to name it something, go ahead and name it. I'm going to just change its color because make it green. There. Name it something, and this will be, there's different ways to go about this. I'm using kind of like a bus system, so to speak. Let's say we'll call it speaker output. That's kind of like the speaker bus or main bus or whatever going out to the speakers. Your interface will look a little different probably than mine. Open it up a little bit on the track so you can see all the options. The buttons will be still there. They just may be different positions or whatever. Beneath the name itself will be a point for specifying the input. For the bus itself, we don't want anything. So input none. Right click, none. And find where it shows you the input output button. Right click it, and this is where it's going to send the audio on that track. We are going to be sending it into the hardware output, which is going to be the actual sound card. Mine is the ASIO xonar. And that's it for this. You don't have to do anything more with that right now. Now you can insert a new track. And this will be, because right now you've got a track that simply sends to the speakers. Now we're going to create one that will take in audio from Windows. If you remember where we set our original default Windows device, that's what's going in here now as the input. So input stereo, and if you chose cable input, because that one's just, all the other ones have another thing appended to the name, not the cable one. BB audio is the name of the cable input itself. The other ones will have like cable A or something like that. So it's a stereo. So we want 1 and 2, and that's left and right. We'll just say, let's call it a Windows audio or something. So now it's going to take in the input from any audio coming into here is going to get sent to the cable on the other end of it, on the recording end. This is what we actually configured in the ASIO driver, just this guy. And this is what's represented here. And then we take right-click the input-output, and we're sending it. You could skip the whole bus idea and just take it in on the same track and spit it out into the hardware. But we can do more if we do the busing type system. So we use the send and receive system that they have. You send and select the speaker bus thing that we created. And I know that's probably not the right term. I don't know. I'm not a professional. The speaker output. And then arm it and record. Backwards. Record armed and record monitoring. Because we're not actually recording music and stuff. We are monitoring it to basically be able to hear what we've been wanting to hear, which is Windows audio and anything else we're doing. You don't do that on the main bus, only on the actual the tracks that are taking in the input. So now what we have is, I'm going to go over it one more time. Windows sends output into this cable here, or whichever one you chose. It gets spit out through the driver into the other end. That end is coming in here onto this track. And this track is sending it into the one we made as a speaker output. And if you right click on here and receives, you'll see it also made a receive that matches the send. So you could also manage it from the other side if you want. And from here, it's also outputting it into the sound card. So that's how that works. I'm going to do a quick check, y'all. Okay, my voice still sounds good. Excellent. So, sorry about that. At this point, the basics are done. If there was any audio playing, you would see these bars going up and down, and then you'd know you did it right. The only thing left to do here is you have an option. You can either put your, actually before we go into that, the effects, let's go ahead and set up the other one. If you were using any kind of professional audio, anything, let's say DJ software like Tractor, instead of having to use the Windows device, you can also create another track here. In fact, I'm just going to literally copy and paste that. And I'll call it ReaRoute 1 and 2. It's a direct copy of the Windows audio, except now we're going to change the input. Instead of one of our virtual devices, we're going to choose ReaRoute, and that's going to be the ASIO driver that this guy's using, not the ASIO for all. That's what it's using to actually communicate with. It doesn't matter. What matters is now there's this channel, or this track, sorry, is also sending. Now it is. I don't know why it didn't copy that. Weird. So this guy and this guy are both sending to the same speaker output. So any audio that comes into Windows, or if you calibrate a program to use this one, the ReaRoute instead as a driver, will also get sent into your speaker output stuff. Let me give you a quick example, just so you know what it looks like. I'm sure you already do. Might take a moment to load. I'm loading Tractor. This is my DJ software. And if I go into settings, you got your typical select your audio device where you normally pick your soundcard or whatnot. Normally, we'd be using, let's say, ASIO for all. That's what I always normally did. That's what most people probably do that aren't using correct, audio interfaces. In our case, we have this ReaRoute ASIO driver option now. So you can select that, and that allows you to interface using ASIO into the routing system. And so when you go to output routing, there it is, like all your Reaper ReaRoute 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. So it's just that easy to connect it into the system. And, so that was that. Sorry, my throat's dying on me. So now we've got, the audio is routing how we want it. It's going into this system and out, and we can send whatever we want into it and get it back out. You can use ASIO applications and still use Windows audio, and you can actually start routing around and do all sorts of extra fancy stuff. And I'll probably make another video. As you can see here, I have output 1, 2, and 3. I'm using extra outputs on my sound card as additional buses, and then that's going separately into my mixer, and that's doing fun stuff. And I don't know if my little case guide doodad was getting in the way or not of being able to see this window here. So just in case, I'll go over this again. Never double clicking any of these. Those are your sample rate and bit settings. And that was where we set the default device. Yeah, you guys have seen that earlier. Normally speakers was your output device. Not anymore. You pick a cable and use that. I apologize if that was not earlier visible. This is still relatively new. I'm just now barely getting the hang of it. Kinda. Sorta. Alright, moving on. To show you what it does if you're not familiar and why I'm, loving this so much. So, with this, I was able to bring quiet sounds up to, to a similar volume, but anything that was loud wasn't also getting louder. It would just stay at that point. Nothing goes past whatever the ceiling you set. So if I'm watching a TV show or something, people are whispering, or there's an explosion, I'm not sitting there like, what, and then, rattling the house and getting the neighbors to call the police on me and stuff. We'll leave that for another episode. So let me get out of this. I don't think I need, I'll keep it minimized. So this is my main computer again. This is my main drivers. I'm trying not to mess with them just so I don't mess up my, my recording process. And let's say, open up, about YouTube. Now I gotta remember not to block my screen with that stupid overlay of myself. I'll put it here. So let's begin. I'm just gonna pick a random video to show you. So here's my output. This one goes to my main speakers. With my normal compression. Like this is the one I use to go through Windows, everything. In fact, let me bring it out. If you double click on these, you can pull them out. Makes it a little easier. In this case, -1 output, -1 decibel output, and thresholds crank down pretty good. So it makes a lot of things louder, no matter, even though they're really quiet. So what I wanted to do is show you, I'm going to bring that all the way up. So this is without increasing the volume, or I guess if you keep it at -1, to -1, that'll be nothing, it won't mess with it. And I'll show you what happens as I increase it, what it does to the volume. I don't know, I'm just picking one. Oh, and I'm going to mute the microphone because my ducking system will make it quieter while I talk. Okay, so you saw what that did there. Turning down my actual volume because it's almost 8 o'clock. Should be alright. So yeah, what you saw there, as I was turning the threshold down, volume got louder. But once I got past a certain point, it did not get any louder. It just stayed there. That's where the limiter was kicking in and just maintaining it. And if I do it the other way around now, let's say I'm going to exaggerate it. Maximum threshold, this is as far as this thing will amplify, so to speak. And I'll show you what it does. If I try and reduce the volume on video, you'll get a better idea as far as what's going on volume-wise, and how that ends up going through to your speakers through the limiter. So I'll do this again, mute the microphone. Alright, so that should give you an idea of what was going on there. You saw that it sounded just as loud, really far down. So when I'm watching something, it doesn't, unless it's like almost completely quiet, it will be audible at, consistent levels. So that's how that works. That was the main reason for really wanting to get this going. And if you're working with, audio software as well, you may not necessarily want that. In which case, we had the additional reroute outputs. You can also make additional tracks just for specific programs if you want. Remember how we installed multiple? Yep, get you down here. See, I remember this time. We had multiple cables installed. You can create more tracks and use these cables as inputs. And then when you go into your, let's say your music player, instead of specifying default device, which would have been this, for example, you specify it to this one, and that'll go to the other track, and you can apply a different effect, or, bypassing the other limiter. So you might have one that just everything otherwise gets limited, unless specified to go through the other way, in which case it won't get touched by anything. That's just one example of something you can do. Did a shit job of trying to explain that. Just as plain, of course. That's, yeah. Alright, so I think I will leave this at this. I want to make 2 more videos. One is going to be kind of showcasing what I did with the microphone stuff. I did a couple cool things here that might be interesting to people that broadcast podcasts and shit like that. And maybe talk about some of the output stuff in another video, multiple outputs, sorry, and how that integrates with like my mixer, for example, and what purpose that serves. So I think I'll leave it at that. My name is Jacob, aka Necrosis. Bye.